In the vibrant city of Seattle, Washington, a single mother's quest for love took a terrifying turn, unveiling a nightmare that sent shockwaves through the community. This is the story of Ingrid Lyne, a tale of online dating, trust betrayal, and a tragedy that shattered the illusion of safety in the digital age. Ingrid, a devoted mother and healthcare professional, was seeking companionship and romance in the modern world of online dating. Little did she know that her search for love would lead to a chilling encounter that would end in unimaginable horror. Ingrid Marie Roundsaville Lyne, born on August 2, 1975, resided in Renton, Washington, with her 3 young daughters just outside Seattle. She pursued a career as a nurse at the Swedish Medical Center in Seattle while navigating life as a divorced parent, having recently split from Phil Lyne, the father of her children. Custody arrangements were made to share parenting responsibilities between Ingrid and Phil. Described as petite yet possessing a vibrant personality, Ingrid was deeply dedicated to her daughters, willing to sacrifice anything to ensure their safety and well-being. On April 9, 2016, Phil Lyne paid a visit to his former spouse, Ingrid Lyne, at their residence in Renton, located in King County, Washington. Despite their divorce, Phil and Ingrid maintained an amicable relationship to effectively co-parent their 3 children, Noelle, aged 10, Brooke, aged 8, and Reese, aged 6, at the time. Ingrid was aware that Phil intended to bring the girls back to their apartment in Renton after spending the night with them. When Phil arrived at the house around 10 a.m., he noticed that Ingrid's Toyota Highlander was absent from its usual spot in front of the house. Despite being scheduled off-duty from her job as a nurse at Seattle's Swedish Medical Center, Ingrid was expecting her daughters to return to her care that day. Phil was certain that she would have been home to greet them. After several unsuccessful attempts to reach her by phone, Phil reached out to Ingrid's mother, Jorga Bass, and together they entered the house using the key Jorga had. Upon searching the house, Jorga found Ingrid's purse, phone, and other personal items, including her driver's license, but there was no sign of Ingrid herself. It seemed unlikely that she would have left without informing anyone. Concerned, Jorga decided to contact the authorities to report Ingrid missing. As the investigation unfolded, authorities reached out to Ingrid's friends and neighbors, discovering that she had mentioned going on a date the previous night to one of them. Additionally, a neighbor mentioned that Ingrid had started seeing a man named John recently. Jorga and Phil were unaware of Ingrid's romantic involvement. However, they shared a phone account, granting Ingrid access to Jorga's call logs. Upon inspecting the logs, Jorga noticed multiple calls to the same Montana-based number. Suspicious, Ingrid's sister conducted some online investigation and discovered that the number belonged to a Facebook account registered to a man named John Robert Charlton. Concerned about her daughter's well-being, Jorga reached out to the number via text on Saturday, informing the recipient that she had contacted 911 to seek information about her daughter's whereabouts. John Charlton responded to Jorga's text with surprise, asking, "911, what's happening?" He then explained that he and Ingrid had attended a Mariners game the previous day, but did not spend the night together, as Ingrid needed to be up early to tend to her children. Despite Jorga's insistence that he speak to the police, John did not respond further. On April 9th, a resident named Mike Novasio, residing in the Seattle area, made a distressing call to the authorities. Upon returning home, he noticed an unusual weight in one of his recycling bins, which he had left outside for collection scheduled for April 7th. Sensing something was amiss, he decided to investigate further. Upon opening the bin, he was shocked to find 3 translucent plastic bags, one of which contained what appeared to be human remains. Alarmed, he promptly notified the authorities. Upon their arrival, the police and medical examiner carefully examined the contents of the bags. Inside, they discovered a human head, a foot, an arm with a hand, and a lower leg. Despite the absence of decomposition, the facial features were still discernible, allowing for the identification of the remains as belonging to Ingrid Lyne. In the subsequent days, further fragments of Ingrid's remains were discovered. Some were recovered at a recycling facility, while others were found in a cooler in a separate location. Regrettably, not all of Ingrid's remains were recovered. During a search of Ingrid's residence, police uncovered Mariners game tickets on her laptop dated April 8th. It was inferred that Ingrid and John attended the game scheduled for 7:10 p.m. On April 11th, John was brought in for questioning following his arrest. During interrogation, he admitted to knowing Ingrid and revealed that they had been dating for approximately a month after meeting online. He asserted that he typically spent the night at her residence, but on that particular night, he did not, as her children were due to return the following day. He recounted that they went to a bar following the Mariners game before driving back to her Renton residence in her car. He admitted to having little recollection of events thereafter, attributing it to being heavily intoxicated. John mentioned they engaged in sexual activity that night and remembered Ingrid's peculiar behavior, but beyond that, his memory was hazy. When questioned about his actions afterward, he claimed uncertainty, but speculated that he likely slept on a downtown Seattle sidewalk, waking up there the next morning. He surmised that Ingrid had driven him to the city center of Seattle before departing. John expressed to authorities that he was not of sound mind, grappling with alcohol dependency, and presently without a permanent residence. John underwent a physical examination, and his injuries were documented through photographs. Scratches were observed on his left hand and forehead, while cuts adorned his mouth and chin, along with scrapes on his chest. His ex-girlfriend informed authorities that she had encountered John on April 9th, noting a swollen and injured lip. Despite alleging robbery, he retained possession of his wallet. On April 20th, law enforcement located Ingrid's vehicle in Belltown just outside of Seattle. Yet, John's account conflicted with the evidence. Despite his assertion that Ingrid dropped him off in downtown Seattle and then returned home, inconsistencies arose. Upon searching the car, authorities discovered identical garbage bags to those containing the body parts. Additionally, 3 fingerprints lifted from the driver's door handle were sent for testing, and the results yielded a match: John Charlton. John was apprehended by authorities on suspicion of committing first-degree murder against Ingrid, along with the theft of her vehicle. The case against John relied heavily on circumstantial evidence. Despite this, he pleaded not guilty. During his defense, John's legal team argued the absence of physical evidence linking him to Ingrid's murder. Initially denying any knowledge of Ingrid's fate that night, John later changed his plea to guilty before the trial. Based on the evidence presented during court proceedings, the prosecution contended that John strangled Ingrid to death within her residence before dismembering her body in her bathtub using a pruning saw. Following the dismemberment, John purportedly disposed of Ingrid's remains across various locations in Seattle. Ingrid's death was officially classified as a homicide by the medical examiner. During the investigation of her residence, authorities found an almost empty package of plastic bags, similar to those in which her body parts were discovered across Seattle. Ingrid's bathroom yielded a 15-inch pruning saw suspected to have been used in the dismemberment process. Upon inspecting the area beneath the bathtub, police uncovered human remains. John faced the maximum penalty permissible under the state's sentencing guidelines, resulting in a sentence of just over 27 years in prison. However, Judge Julie Spector of the King County Superior Court expressed her desire to impose a life sentence if possible, emphasizing the severity of John's actions as vicious and cruel beyond anyone's belief. During his sentencing, John addressed the court and Ingrid's family, expressing his remorse with the words, "I'm truly sorry." Before facing charges related to homicide, John had a history of criminal convictions, including aggravated robbery, felony theft, grand theft auto, 4th-degree assault, and 3rd-degree theft. Additionally, he was arrested for burglary. John's past was marked by turmoil. In 2006, his parents, Ray and Joanne Charlton, expressed concerns for their safety due to their son's drunken behavior, prompting them to obtain a temporary protection order against him. John disclosed to them that he was feeling overwhelmed by life's pressures and experiencing psychological instability. Court records indicate that on March 2, 2006, John was intoxicated and aggressive, attempting to provoke a confrontation with his parents. Reports suggest that he was found intoxicated and behaving aggressively towards them in their residence, posing a physical and verbal threat. During this period, Ray recalled an unsettling incident where John compelled his wife to watch the movie Hannibal, retrieved from a shelf, cautioning her to watch this and beware. Court documents further revealed John's parents' concerns about his potential crack cocaine use, along with their observation that he holds grudges for years and becomes frustrated when under the influence of alcohol or drugs, causing intimidation and instilling fear of violence. It was upon the request of John's parents that the petition for the protection order was eventually withdrawn. Friends of Ingrid speculate that she ventured into online dating because, as a single parent juggling 2 young daughters and a demanding full-time nursing job, it seemed like a convenient way to meet someone amidst her hectic routine. Ingrid's untimely death left a profound void in the lives of her loved ones, whose grief knows no bounds. Their pain is a testament to the irreparable loss of a cherished mother, daughter, and friend. In the aftermath, the community rallied around Ingrid's family, offering support and solidarity in their time of need. Their resilience in the face of tragedy is a testament to the strength of the human spirit. Though Ingrid Lyne's life was tragically cut short, her memory lives on in the hearts of all who knew and loved her. May her story serve as a cautionary tale, inspiring us to prioritize safety and vigilance in the digital age. If you found this video compelling, leave a like, and your thoughts in the comments. Be sure to subscribe and check out our other videos.